Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 140 of Let's Play on the Story Tinker. And today we have Caela and Krystine.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Yeah, so you guys can introduce yourselves however you would like. If you want to say anything about yourselves.
Okay. I'm Caela. I'm 32. I live in the Midwest. I'm a critical care nurse part-time and mom of 7.
Hi, it's Krystine again. I've been on here before, 33, literally 33. I live in the SoCal area and I am a baker as a full-time job. And yeah, excited to talk about this episode.
We're all the same age. I'm 32, so we're all, and as we discussed before, we're all the same age and we're all in the Unfolded Laundry Club. So
Yep.
Yeah, if you're in the Unfolded Laundry Club, comment below. If your background or room is currently filled with unfolded laundry, as mine is. All right, so I'll just read quickly through the beginning. Starts off with the rehash of Sam and Charles, where she smiles at him and he blushes and then she doesn't even see. So, and then we continue from there. And Caela, take it away.
All right, so this episode starts with a kind of panned out view of Sam's apartment, and then you see them in the hallway right outside, and Sam says, "Thank you for walking me to my door, Charles." And he says, "You're welcome, Bunty. How are you feeling?" She's looking down kind of to the corner, blushing, anxious, sorry. "You don't need to apologize, but why are you anxious?" "Because we're alone in front of my apartment, and I want both for you to not leave and for me to run into my home and hide. I know you said you wanted me to take the lead, but could you please instead, or do it instead, please?"
I'm honestly very impressed with Sam's ability to be honest, because for someone who's so shy, she really is telling him, her deep feelings. And it's hard for people to be honest with someone that they like, and to admit what they really want. So I'm impressed that Sam has the courage to do that, even though she expresses it in a pretty shy way.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that she also asks again. She's like, "Please, can you do this? I'm not ready to initiate this." And I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it also is, but in some way, it's abdicating control, but it is assertiveness for her to ask that.
For sure. And then she's like, "I was hoping you could teach me about this stuff. You have so much more experience than I do." And she's kind of like grabbing her stomach. And Charles replies, "I am teaching you, Samara, just not in the way you were hoping for."
I think it's so true.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the whole teaching dynamic? Do you feel like it's not an equal relationship? Or do you think that it's okay? Do you think that it eventually could become an equal relationship? Do you think that that's just the sort of relationship that they currently both want, that of like teacher mentor? What do you think of that whole dynamic?
I don't know. Go ahead, Caela. Sorry.
I don't love it for them. I don't know what it is about it, but I don't know. It just feels so unnatural, though. At the beginning, when they talked about this, like, let's let this progress naturally, as we'll see a little later in this episode, but it feels so unnatural.
Like, I know with like when me and my fiance first started dating, like it's a mutual like learning curve, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's how it is for like every relationship, or how it should be. It's like you both start learning like what each other wants or what each other doesn't like. But for him to be like, "Okay, you tell me what you want and then it's a weird dynamic."
Yeah, I think that, I myself, like my husband was sexually experienced and I wasn't. So in that sense, yes, there was, I don't feel like I never felt it was like a teaching sort of thing, but there definitely was that imbalance for about like 5 seconds, or however long. But yeah, I'm also, I am a shipper of the Charles and Sam thing, because I personally like Charles and that kind of personality. But it does get me very uncomfortable. And like, we can see from what he says next, like he clearly likes her and is attracted to her, but it is like a little, there's a power dynamic there that, I don't know, you know, it might be something that they both like at this present stage of their development, because sometimes we like things that other people might say, oh, I would never be able to have that kind of relationship, or, you know, that's, you know, you could, sometimes relationships are not what other people would prefer. You know, some people I think do like a little bit more of a, I don't want to call it this, it's always power imbalance, but some people like that. So I don't know if that's going to be Sam and Charles forever, if theoretically they end up together, or if the idea is eventually they equal out. What do you think? Like, if they end up in a relationship together, do you think that they will always have this dynamic, or they'll become more equal?
I feel like given enough time, they could definitely equalize a little bit, but that could take, depending on how Sam does with this, like it could take a lot of time before that the current power imbalance equals out a bit more.
We see that like Sam is starting to like get like assertive, so it could happen. But I mean, also take into account that like Charles has done like the kind of like sub dom thing with Ava, so I'm like, does that take into account? Does that play a factor? Which I'm pretty sure it does.
Yeah, I was wondering, I haven't gone back to review it because I remember some people discussing this and somebody mentioned, oh, that was only, he only did that because Ava wanted it. And I haven't gone back to reread the scene to see if it was, you know, only for Ava or was something that they both wanted. But yeah, that's, I think if it's something they both wanted, that could definitely feed into this kind of relationship that they have.
I feel like if I remember correctly, it was Charles was more doing it because that was what he was into and not necessarily what he was into.
He still dabbled.
True.
I don't see him like that with her at all, though, right? He's really the opposite with her, and you know, explicitly so, where he wants her to take the lead because he doesn't want to overwhelm her. So I think he probably was capable of doing it, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that's his thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
At least sexually, but I do think interpersonally, I mean, personality wise, there might be something to it that he likes to be the one that's more mature and in control.
Control.
Yeah. I mean, the question is it only like that because of his trauma? And like, is his healed self, you know, really want like an egalitarian equal relationship? And will he ever get there? Like, will he ever be able to heal from his trauma and kind of be more relaxed and not need to be in control all the time?
We'll see.
Yeah. All right, so to continue, Charles asks Sam, who's still looking down, do you remember what I told you last week when we discussed things at the start? And she replies that you were a cantankerous old goat. And the look on Charles' face is priceless.
I'm like, give me Charles like making like those like deadpan faces like any day. I love it so much. That and like chibi Charles, like just give me that every single day. Oh, I love it.
Like, oh, I wish I would have just said that. Why did I say that about myself?
Yes. And he replies with, yes, that is technically correct. But I also said that we should just let things happen naturally. Trying to push yourself when you're not ready will only make it more difficult for you. Struggling isn't failing, Bunty. You should give yourself more credit. You have grown tremendously in the past few weeks. And I really like that he's affirming her right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's moments like this where that make us forgive like his flaws and make us under, you know, kind of not overlook, but it massages the other parts of his personality that are more dominating, because you see like he clearly is supportive of her, like you said, affirming of her. So
I like that quote, struggling isn't failing.
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, it's a great lesson for anybody. I think that, you know, we all look at, we only want to have successes in life. and we don't realize that we can't get anywhere without failing along the way, and that the struggle is the real part. So I think it's a wonderful message.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
And she's finally comfortable enough to actually look up, when he gives her those like affirming words. Now she finally can face him.
Yeah. See, he says, and even though I'm more experienced, I too was once a clueless beginner. He's lifting his hand. You're already learning faster than I did. You've been tenting your brows all day. And he reaches out and he rubs her face. It's adorable.
Yeah,
I can tell you've been stressing over this.
When I first saw that panel, I like copied him. I was like, is this like some symbol that I don't know? It's like a street slang thing that I should know, and I just don't.
I thought he was like gonna do like air quotes, and I'm like, what are you air quoting?
Like, yeah, the posture of his hand is awkward, but then when he actually reaches out to touch her, it makes a lot more sense. So you've been tenting your brows all day. I could tell you've been stressing over this. You don't need to worry about any of this, Bunty. Whether you're ready or not, there's no wrong answer. And be more gentle with yourself. You're doing your best. And Sam sighs and relaxes into his rubbing, and that's cute too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is perfect. I mean, this is like just Charles being just the perfect partner, completely not rushing her, reassuring her, telling her it's all okay. I'm so impressed. I mean, this is, for somebody who's been so scarred, the fact that he can talk to her like this just shows you what kind of person he was, I think, before his wife cheated on him. He must have been a really kind, sensitive guy.
Yeah. And I think he still is, but just that trauma is really, really warped the way that he sees what a partnership could be. That's really sad.
Yeah, I'm so curious whether this story will end with Charles's like redemption and healing, or if it'll be like more of a tragedy where he never learns to do that. Do you have your speculation on how it'll end in that sense?
I hope Charles gets a redemption arc. I like him as a character. I don't love him with Sam. I'm not a Charles and Sam shipper.
Yeah. Are you a Marshall Charles shipper or someone else? Okay,
I'm shipping Sam with her dog.
Yeah.
Like, I just want Sam to be okay with herself at this point.
Yeah. Also, like, going back to like what Charles was saying, like, I was once like a clueless beginner. I was just like, so did your wife like teach you like some stuff? Because he married young, right? Like,
yeah.
So I'm like, what? Yeah. So I'm like, it's weird to think of like Charles's inexperience.
Right. And well, I mean, he says that she's learning faster than him. So that was like, so Charles, you were like a really shy little boy too, I can see it. I can see Charles being shy in the past as a young person.
Yeah.
Which honestly would kind of explain the patience he has with her, because if he went through the same journey himself, going from being shy and insecure to being confident and in control, it would make sense that he's patient with her. I know, like, my daughter has traits that I don't have, and I'm not patient with her. Like, she's afraid. I was never afraid, and I don't understand it. I was like, why are you afraid of the dark? Why are you afraid to sleep by yourself? I just don't even understand it. So I'm not patient. I mean, I try to work on it mentally, but emotionally, I don't get it at all. So it could be the fact that Charles is patient with her means that he totally understands that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Let's see. She says, I don't want to disappoint you. And he replies with, you're the only one worried about that, Bunty. Keep your chin up. You haven't done anything wrong. And then
perpetual blush.
Yes, I don't think I've seen Sam without a blush since the beginning of season 3.
Pretty much.
Especially around Charles.
Yeah. He says, when you're ready, I'll be here. But then those chains are back.
I think it means the chains are clinking and that they're like loosening. Not that they're
You know,
tight. What do you think?
I don't know. Because so the next panel is like this just linger, and he's so close and she's trembling, and then he turns away. And the chains in the background look like they're moving.
I'm looking at it right now. So in the first one, it looks like it's slack, but then like on the very third one where Charles like turns away, it's tightened. Like they're being pulled.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Oh.
Like, I just don't know what it means. Like, are they slipping? Are they tightening? Is he like?
I think they were slipping, and then like it tightened back up again.
Right.
Yeah.
When he chose to turn away.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm like, you should have just kissed her, you cantankerous old goat.
I know, right?
I know. It would not have been awkward or weird at all if he'd kissed her like on the cheek or on the forehead or anything. But he just like turns away.
Out.
Or that.
They made out already. It's like, what's the problem with like a little peck? Like, you already went far enough. Like,
yeah, we are all so frustrated.
Yeah.
And he can't. He's like, I mean, you just see his body is rigid. His fists are clenched at his side. I mean, he's definitely exhibiting a lot of control over himself. He has to turn away his head. He blushes. The art is really, really good at depicting his emotions.
Mm-hmm. I just don't understand them. Like in this moment, a lot of times I get it, but in this moment, I'm like, what's the problem?
He kisses her. He has to admit he likes her to himself, and that causes all sorts of issues with him. Yeah, I want to what do you think of Sam's reaction? She like looks up and then she kind of deflates. Do you think she's disappointed or relieved?
Well,
yes.
Yeah, yes. Yes.
I think both. Because she even says, like, she's like, we're here. I want you to come inside, but I also want to go inside and hide by myself. So I think it's kind of a little bit of both.
Oh, yeah. And that look she has after is like worried, disappointed, thoughtful. It's like everything at once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's realistic. I mean, it's been a long time since I've had this kind of like romantic back and forth. But I remember those days when I was younger and it was like, oh my God, the rigmarole we would go through with our heads. Does he like me? Does he not? What should I do? What should I say? It was like torturous, man. So yeah, this just reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Back in those days.
Sure. They don't work with the computer. Can you take the baby though? Or no, you eat first. Sorry, my husband just got home from work. Nurse's hours.
Well, yes, Krystine, here's your part.
Sure. So we get a look at the city scene, and then we see Sam and Bowser on a walk, and then Sam notices that it's Marshall sitting on the grass, and she's like, "Is that Marshall? What's he doing sitting in the park?" And you see Marshall like taking a slow, deep breath, and then we see Sam walk up to him and he's like, "Marshall, are you okay?" And oh, Sam, yeah, I'm good. And I'm surprised that like Bowser isn't like already like her Marshall.
Yeah, he's pretty neutral.
He actually stays neutral the whole episode. I just realized that. Bowser stays neutral towards Marshall the whole time.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, this time.
Oh, is that a sign? We go from at least from hate to neutrality. By the way, I have to say, like, I laughed internally when I saw Marshall's outfit because I just had like one of my friends is like also like a lot bit of a hippie, and he also had this profile picture with that shirt that just like opens up and shows your whole shoulders, and I'm like, is that like a prerequisite to like doing meditation? Or like when I go to yoga also, it's like it's a certain look. It's like, do you have to show your shoulders? Like, is that the thing to show you're like you're part of you're in tune with nature?
I know, I took note of that too. I was like, that's an interesting outfit, Marshall. I don't think you've worn something like that before. Anyway, so
it has great shoulders though, I will say. I mean, it does highlight those.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
mm-hmm.
for sure.
So Marshall's like, oh, Sam, yeah, I'm good. Your friend Vikki has been teaching me meditation. I thought I'd try practicing in the park, literally touching grass, you know? And Sam was like, I had no idea you knew Vikki. What did you meet? A while back, she invited me to her yoga class. And she's like, oh, how's it going? And Marshall's just like, not good. It's hard to reach inner peace when you got ants trying to crawl up your grundle. Stupid invasive nature.
I love how that's so realistic. Yeah, I mean, I have a back garden. I often sit outside and reading, and I've learned to make peace with it, but there's like every 5 seconds, there's bugs crawling across the book, crawling up my lap, crawling up my arms, crawling up my legs. And I'm just like, okay, I mean, I'm honestly surprised that I've learned to like and still enjoy it. But yeah, it's a testament to the realities of difficulties of you know, living in nature or trying to be at peace in nature.
Yeah, right now it's mosquitoes in the Midwest. They're everywhere.
You guys want to see my arms, but they are like horrible because I've been cleaning out my garden for like hours and hours for the past couple of days. And I don't know if I have poisonous plants plus mosquitoes. They're like, they look like a disaster zone. Like seriously, I can't even show you. They're horrible. So that's the effect of being in nature.
Oh no.
I wish I could say I love nature. I do not like nature at all. I especially hate bugs. Bugs is like my number one thing. Like, so like me sitting outside, you will never find me sitting outside in the grass. No.
Yeah, my kids are outside all day. We usually have a big vegetable garden in the summers. We didn't this year, but like nature is just kind of our thing out here. You get used to it if you live in the country.
Like the closest thing we have over here is like beaches, but like I'm a California girl who doesn't like beaches. I hate sand. It gets everywhere and like just I know.
It is true.
The oxymoron, that is me. I can't deal.
Sun, at least. Do you enjoy the, you know, constant weather with no weather changes?
Oh, it's like 80. It's been like 80 plus degrees over here for like the past like week and a half. I'm dying. I'm dying. I have like I have skin issues, so like the heat makes me sweat and it makes my skin irritated. So yeah, don't like the heat either. Can't win over here.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, I live in, you know, New York, New Jersey, where it gets very hot and then very cold. So it gets hotter than 80 for sure, and it gets freezing. Anywho, yeah. So I guess we should get back to the episode.
Yeah.
Did you guys look up the word grundle? Because I didn't know what that meant, so I Googled it.
I figured it was like butthole. Is that what it meant?
Yeah, it's near that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
According to Urban Dictionary. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Grundle.
Don't look at me like that.
I didn't know it was a real word. I thought he made it up.
No, it's a real word.
It's a slang. A slang that I haven't heard in like a while, but I'm like, oh, grundle. There's one I haven't heard.
I've never heard it before.
Okay, so Marshall's like, are you two enjoying your walk? And Sam's like, yeah, we're heading back now. Cool, is it okay if I walk back with you? Yeah, no problem. He's like, great, thanks. He looks so cute, smiling. I love smiling Marshall.
He's such a sweetie. He's so open. In many ways, he's so much the opposite of Charles. Charles is so uptight, and Marshall's just so out there. You know, he just says what's on his mind. He's like, his heart is on his sleeve. So they're very much a foil.
There's also part of it too.
Yeah, I guess it's also the part of him that like pretends, right? That's the not real part of him. I don't know, you know, I never think it's not real. It's just like selective personality. I think that the cheery, bright Marshall is him, but I think that it's not integrated. You know, if it's not your complete personality, it's only one part of your personality and you don't show people the other side. I just think that's not being integrated. I don't think that it's not like he's always depressed, right? I think that cheerful him is also him. I think that, you know, he has to learn to be integrated with all his parts.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And so they're walking back to the apartment, and Sam was like, "Hey, Marshall, I wanted to ask, do you know anyone from Indigineer that could be a good business contact?" He's like, "Not specifically. Why do you ask?" "The company I work for wants to consult with them about their software, but we don't have a good contact there." And Marshall's like, "Oh, that sounds cool. I can check my network and ask Dean and Colin if they know anyone." And Sam's like, "Thanks." I'm like, "It's good to have friends that know people."
It's one of the things that, like,
Yeah.
as I grow older, I realize it's all about knowing the right people, right?
Networking.
Networking.
I just didn't.
Friends.
That was like the number one theme was like, this MBA is all about networking. And having just given one of my MBA classmates an interview at my company, I'm like, yep, there it goes in action.
Yeah. So Sam looks at Marshall, and you see him just looking all like sad puppy. I'm like, he's so cute, but he's so sad.
Love him.
And I know, I love him. And Sam's just like, "Marshall, you seem like something's troubling you. Are you okay? Is Monica okay?" And he's like, "I would assume so. I haven't talked to her lately. We broke up last week." And Sam's just like, "What? I had no idea. You two seem so close." And we see like Marshall like not looking at her, being like, "Yeah, we probably did. It's our job as influencers to show the public what we want them to see, and what we show isn't always the truth." It's sad. It's sad that like Marshall has to like hide that side of him, or like he feels like he can't share it with, you know, his audience.
Yeah. I wrote down in my notes, I was like, I wish that he could introduce himself as Ben with Sam, like just kind of start to be himself. I think she'd be a great first person to try to integrate his personalities together, like Mindy was talking about.
I think he's like still way too early at this point, because I don't even know if he thinks of himself as Ben anymore. I think he's still just like, I don't know. I kind of assume he thinks of himself as Marshall, and that Ben is like the old him. But yeah, I think definitely at some point he has to integrate it.
Yeah.
So I always wonder though, did you feel, in what sense was Monica not being real with him? Because I don't know, in a way I was like, I felt she was being very real. Yes, she had like a ton of physical, you know, enhancements, right, with the pink hair and the makeup, but I didn't feel that wasn't her. I just felt that she is a very dramatic personality, and you know, a lot of people do that. I felt that she always was very true to herself. So I was a little surprised when she did that whole "I'm taking off all my makeup" thing, because I never felt like she was hiding herself. So I don't know, but what do you think about that?
I feel like she was just hiding behind like I think like her Glitz Kitten or whatever her channel is called just so suddenly just became her, and that's just who she was. I feel like her personality wise, like she was always just who she was, but like she was always that face, that face on YouTube or YouTube, whatever they call it.
Yeah, I feel like,
and so like
her makeup was like her armor. Like it was a huge part of how she presented herself to the world. So taking that off and being vulnerable physically, like with her physical appearance, was a big thing for her. But I feel like her
We're a little frozen, so yeah, I guess we'll just talk meanwhile. Yeah, I know, you know, I don't know. I think maybe we're missing a little bit of build up, because I got the impression that she always was this kind of over the top personality. but I didn't know that she felt uncomfortable with herself. But I mean, I definitely think that it probably would be good for her to learn what she is underneath that. Sorry, Caela.
It's okay.
So sorry,
Yeah.
you're saying. Yeah, we got caught. You froze for a while, so I don't know. You were in the middle of saying something. So if you want to continue.
I don't remember. And I don't know where you guys went off to because my whole computer froze.
Talking about Monica. So you were saying something about her.
Oh, like her physical appearance was kind of like her armor, and how she presented herself to the world was a big thing. So taking that off was a big vulnerability for her. Whereas Marshall, it's like more his outward personality versus his internal struggles.
You know, I like it because I feel like it's a very realistic struggle for a lot of people, especially in this, I'm going to sound old, but in this generation, you know, where people are so on social media. One of my friends is highly insecure about this. And she's always talking about, oh, you know, these people on Instagram, they seem like they have these perfect lives. And my other friends were like, of course not. They just show you the nicest part of it. And I guess it's not hard for me because I'm very open, like I told you guys about like my massive pile of laundry here, right? I don't think anyone has a better life just because they post nice pictures. Like we just don't post the nasty parts of our lives, you know, or some people do, you know, some people are very honest online. But a lot of people do struggle when they see the selective parts that people post online. They're like, oh, this person is always happy in their relationship. This person's house is always neat. This person always has enough money. This person is always calm. And I think that addressing this in the comic is really important.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. So, let's see. So Marshall continues with, problem was we were trying to do the same influencer thing to each other and we're not being our true selves. We're going to try to be friends for a while, then see where it leads us. But it's like, I feel like they haven't tried yet. If they haven't talked in like a week, they haven't tried to be friends yet. I mean, it's still fresh, but yeah, it's still fresh. But I mean, like, they could at least be like, oh, hey, like, good morning. Like,
yeah, I was thinking the same. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if this friends thing is going to work. I mean, I've never had that situation myself because I didn't date because of my religion, but yeah, like it's notoriously impossible to be friends after being together. So what do you think is going to happen with Monica and Marshall?
I just want them back together. I love them so much. I think they're really good for each other. Like, because Monica doesn't put up with like Marshall's like sometimes bullshit. Like, she's very blunt, so she tells it like it is. So I don't know. They're really good for each other. I want them back together. I miss Monica. I can't wait for her to come back.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to be able to manage the whole friends thing. Like if they see each other at a YouTube event or where they've crossed paths because they're influencers, like I don't think they're going to be able to pull it off well.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they'll get back together or do you think they will not?
I still have no idea what ships are going on where in this comic. It has changed so much. I don't know who I'm rooting for. I just want everybody to be happy by themselves.
Everybody be healed.
Yes, exactly. Like everybody just needs some time to heal.
Therapy sessions with Vikki.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of them getting back together because I personally like the idea of couples being able to go through difficult times and still be together because I think that's just a good lesson, especially like as someone who's been married, you know, who is married. So I think it's important to understand that, you know, that's possible, but I don't know, you know, I don't, yeah, I also have no idea where the ships are going to go. Nope.
Yeah. Maggie could just throw us a left curve and be like, we're like, what? What is where? Why?
Everybody can just be on
Diane is the new guy.
friendships.
Huh?
Everybody can just be on friendships. Like,
Everybody be friends.
yes. But I don't know where the romance is going.
Yeah, like I personally ship like Sam and Charles, but I do see the cracks in that ship. So I'm like, it's not, it's not solid, but I still love it.
It's not for me. I don't know what it is. It hasn't from the beginning. I remember making a comment on one of the webtoon episodes and just getting like torn apart because I was like, I don't really like this. It's really weird. And everybody was like, no, it's perfect. I'm like, okay.
No, but like it's true. Like if you look at it from like a standpoint, like just the fact that like Charles is like her boss, that's already like
Right.
Yep. Yeah, and interesting enough, I mean, she's the daughter of the CEO. She doesn't wield that power in the office, but she technically has that power over Charles. If she told Daddy, I don't want Charles around me, you know where Charles is going to be the next day? Packing up out of the office,
Yep.
We'll see. But I like that, Carla. Everyone be friends. Everybody be friends.
Yes.
Love it. Okay, so going back, Sam is thinking like, oh, I shouldn't have asked, but that explains why he's been looking so upset lately. And then Marshall is like, is it okay if I ask you a question, Sam? She's like, oh yeah, sure. What happened to your neck? Are you okay? And Sam is just like, oh.
Dramatic gasp.
Dramatic gasp. And she's like, oh, I got bit by an animal. and Marshall's just laughing and he's like, an animal, huh? I hope he got all his shots. And he's like, maybe try a muzzle next time. She's like, Marshall, please. And he's like, I'm not judging you, Sam. Get it, girl. And I'm like, ooh, supportive. I like it.
Yes.
And he did not believe her for a second. He totally was teasing her.
Yeah. He
From the
knew.
start.
Oh yeah.
But it's cute. From this interaction, I think that it also shows us that at this point he doesn't have romantic intentions to her because he's just teasing her and he's not at all jealous or he get awkward. So I think that at least right now he doesn't have any feelings for her.
Yeah, I agree. I think at this point they're just like good neighbors, good friends.
Sam still does
Definitely think we're swinging I think we're going to swing towards the Marshall direction soon.
Yeah.
Because karma's still a thing. The karma, is that his name? The Link, Marshall, and Charles.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, he's still around. He made an appearance a couple episodes ago. So
yeah, Zion. His real name is Zion. Do you think that that's a new character, or do you think it's one of them, or someone else? Maybe not. Maybe not. Marshall, Charles.
I don't know. That's a big question mark.
Do you want to go attend to your baby?
I might need to. Hold on.
There you go. Yeah. So, what do we think about Zion?
I don't know. I kind of think it's Marshall. Because he says he hasn't played and he had in the past. So that's probably why I like the Shakespearean language. It's kind of like old and archaic. But I don't know.
it would be like him to like use that Shakespearean
True.
language. Like I wouldn't put it past him. But like I don't know, like I feel like could be a new character, but like I feel like realistically, I'm like to introduce a new character like kind of now is weird. I mean, Maggie could, but I don't know. We've established, such like a set amount of characters that it's weird to introduce like somebody new now.
I'm trying to remember because I remember listening to an interview with her and someone asked, "Oh, did you introduce all the characters?" And she said, "No, not at all. I have tons of them." I don't know when the interview was from though.
Oh.
I don't know. I wouldn't remember now because I've listened to a couple. Maybe it was the Q&A session, in which case we could look up the date. Anyway, I'm not necessarily going back to scroll through interviews to find it. So, but yeah, I think it's possible. It's someone new. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You that like it, I don't think so, but because of that interview, I think maybe yeah. Anywho, right now we kind of pan back and we see someone looking through the bushes and we see a camera click click click, and we saw this camera before, and it was when Marshall was with his friends at the cafe, like right after he was telling them that he broke up with what's her name?
Monica.
Yeah.
Yeah, Monica, sorry. And so this seems like it's someone who's stalking Marshall. Like based on the stuff that happens afterwards, some people might think it's her dad, but I don't think so. I think it's the person who's stalking Marshall, which would make sense because he's a famous YouTuber and doesn't bode well. Like, are they going to end up in, some trash magazine? Is Charles going to get offended? Is he going to be like, we discussed, I think, last episode that, maybe him thinking that she's getting close to Marshall will get Charles scared off and then he'll run away to that job in England. Maybe this is going to be the catalyst.
Yeah.
I'm just like, who is it?
Yeah.
And like, why? I know that Marshall's a big influencer, but why?
Mm-hmm.
I always feel bad. Like I try not to read celebrity articles. Every so often I click on one and I'm like, oh no, don't do it. You're just participating in the culture that, invades their privacy and it's like drives them crazy. I try not to click on those articles because I feel like it's disrespectful to the people,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but so anyway, now we go on to paradise, right? We have the palm trees, we have this beautiful tent, and Mr. Young is in front of the curtains, and Mrs. Young, Sam's mom, is like, "Sorry, handsome, I should only be a few minutes more." She's getting ready, and he jumps, and he's like, he clearly thinks she looks gorgeous, and he's like, "Take your time, honey. I would never rush perfection."
So sweet.
Yeah, he is. He is sweet and very cheesy, but it's okay. And she just gives this like sexy little smile, like in total control, knowing her sexual power. She is very much the opposite of Sam in that, she's completely aware of her feminine beauty. So it's again like a very much a foil, right? She is very confident. Sam is very insecure. She is completely in control of her sexuality. Sam is not. But one day Sam could end up like her.
Mm-hmm.
And at this moment, Mr. Young turns around, he gets a phone call, picks it up, he's like, "Yes, what is it?" And then somebody, we don't know who, says something, and he's like, "What do you mean she didn't take the bus? Did she not get to work?" Someone says, it's like, "I see. Keep me informed." And he's seething. Mr. Young, up with you. I think you're trying to do best for your daughter, but get away from her. Let her breathe. What is wrong with you? Oh my
Yes.
God. A grown ass adult.
Thank you.
She's like, what? How old is she again? 22, 23? Like 24? I don't remember, but she's like, leave her alone. Oh my God. You have someone following her to see she took the freaking bus? Like, can you
It's like, you don't do that to your son. Like, why are you doing it? Just because, like, she was frail as a kid and like now they're terrified of like what could happen. You're always gonna wonder. It's like you just gotta let the bird fly out of the nest. Just let her be.
Aggravating. I'm a very independent person, and his behavior ticked me off from the start. And like everyone's like, "Oh, he's so cute." I'm like, "He's not cute. He's stifling." Like I get that it comes from a place of concern. Like it's better than from a place of entire concern. But I was so mad. Oh my god, Mr. Young. And
it's not
Sam
even like it's not even like stifling. It's like smothering at this point.
Yeah,
oh,
it's a lot.
does Mrs. Young know about this? Like she's busy getting ready. Like what would I bet if she heard this, she'd be like, "Stop this instant," you know? But like I don't know if he like kind of hides it from his wife because he knows that she wouldn't let him.
He's clearly hiding it. When she says something, he jumps when she's there because I think he's waiting for that phone call. I think
You're
she
right.
has no
Oh my gosh,
idea.
you're right.
Because he's standing there, he's looking out the window, he's being all shifty, and then he jumps.
Oh.
He was waiting for the phone call, didn't want her to know about it. She has no clue, and he's being insane.
And also, who is telling him? Who is calling Mr. Young?
Right. Is it like a random person or is it someone we know?
I have a suspicion. I don't know why. I think it's Lucy.
Okay.
Because like we know that she's nosy, and we know her to be nosy. So, why is like, oh yeah, like I didn't take the bus this morning. Like they were probably like talking to just happened to mention like, oh, I didn't take the bus.
Yeah.
Like, and then Lucy could have been like, oh, Mr. Young.
True.
It sounds like it's someone who is maybe like actually stalking her, but yeah, we'll find out.
Because I'm like the only two other people that we know in the office are Umid and Lucy. So
Jacob also, but yeah, I don't think he's the type.
Yeah,
Umid definitely doesn't seem like the type.
No.
Unless like somehow her brother Jay is like somehow keeping tabs on her too, but like I don't find that realistic. Yeah.
He hired a PI.
Oh god. Honestly, wouldn't put it past him.
He probably did. I mean,
Yeah.
this is crazy.
Marshall has a stalker. Sam has a stalker.
Whose dad would you rather have? Would you rather have Marshall's dad or Sam's dad?
Ooh, I already kind of had Marshall's dad, so.
Oh.
You go for Sam's dad.
Yeah, I had to choose.
Ugh.
Well, we'll see you next episode. I don't know if we're going to find out right away, but at some point we'll find out who these two stalkers are.
Probably not till like Mr. Young comes back and like Sam's like, "You've been keeping tabs on me." Like,
yeah, I hope that she
finally.
Yeah, I hope she finally confronts her dad because she hasn't even told him she doesn't want to be CEO. I think that she's very much due for a round of like, leave me alone, Dad.
Yeah,
and I want her mom there to support her. Be like, yeah, leave her alone.
We'll find out. Thanks so much for joining us on this episode, and we will go on to the bonus question.